Sequels are abundant this year, with some being absolutely hated, Transformers 4, and others being absolutely loved, like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, How to Train Your Dragon 2, and of course one of my favorite sequels this year, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. While the first film, The First Avenger, was entertaining and enjoyable, it did feel a bit cartoony and unrealistic. None of that is present in the sequel. This movie is a lot more darker, a lot more mature, and a lot more violent, which is something that's starting to catch on to these Marvel films lately, like with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then looks like next year's Age of Ultron is going to be the most violent Marvel film yet, and it's going to have a dark tone to it. So it worked really well with The Winter Soldier having the darker tone. I mean, the humor and special effects and science fiction moments, they're still there, but it's on a more mature level, so it's not like, the first movie was like, Captain America jumping out of something, like, and blowing things up everywhere, and then how he fought the Red Skull at the end was kind of just a fist fight, basically. Let's start out with the good. First good thing about this movie is the story. It takes place about 2 years after the Avengers, where Captain America, or Steve Rogers, if you will, is adjusting to his new life in this modern time after being woken from being frozen for 70 years. So anyway, the story follows him as he's doing that, but then when Nick Fury is attacked, he gets called into action to figure out who did it and who's behind it and why they attacked Nick Fury, of all people. Why this story was so good was because it keeps you on the edge of your seat with that mature and dark and gritty tone. It's a thriller. It's not so much a superhero movie. I mean, it is a superhero movie because of Captain America, but it's more of a spy and political thriller, really. I mean, you're watching it, they keep throwing more and more at you. These twists and turns, you never know which way it's going to come out. And that's what's good about this. It keeps you busy. It's not boring. There's no boring part of this movie, really. I also enjoyed the cast in this movie. Returning are Chris Evans as Captain America and Steve Rogers, Sebastian Stan as Bucky, and the title character Winter Soldier. Bet you thought he was dead, but he's not. And who else is? Nick Fury. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson, he's back. He's been in pretty much all the Marvel movies lately, so it's not surprising, at least somewhere. Scarlett Johansson's back as the Black Widow. And the newcomers include Robert Redford. Bet you never thought you'd see him in a Marvel film. Like, you don't think of him as sci-fi or comic book movie. And then Anthony Mackie, who comes in as the Falcon. So, good solid cast in here, I think. Soldier, I felt, was a really fantastic choice for a villain because he's not really a bad guy. He's confused about who he is. I mean, he's Captain America's best friend from forever ago. If you saw the first movie, you thought he died when he fell off that train, but it turns out he didn't. Spoiler alert. He was brainwashed by Hydra, and then, like Captain America, frozen in time, and then he wakes up, and then they use him to go out and kill people for them to try to take over S.H.I.E.L.D. The reason this works is because Captain America has a struggle with fighting him once he figures out who the Winter Soldier really is. Even at the end of the movie, like in their final fist fight at the end, he says, "I won't fight you because I'm your friend." So that was really a strong way to go about this. Now I'd like to get into what I really didn't like. I mean, there isn't much. There's not really anything to pick at. I mean, just nitpicks, I guess, in this. So these are my nitpicks, I guess, for this movie. The thing was, I guess I thought that they mentioned the Avengers way too much in this movie. I mean, I know it happened and they needed to make it clear this is after the events, but it happened way too much. They kept mentioning Stark and New York and all that other stuff. I mean, yes, we know what happened, and pretty much everybody that saw this movie probably saw the Avengers 2 years ago, so you don't need to put that on too heavily. I also didn't like how there was really no cameos from any other Avengers. I mean, like, Thor: The Dark World, Captain America sort of showed up when Loki turned into him, but I would have liked to have seen at least Hawkeye show up because, he and the Black Widow were like best friends and everything. You'd think even just a one-off scene with him in there. Or even at the end when Agent Maria Hill is joining Stark Industries being interviewed, there's a shot there of her sitting in there. You would think maybe they could put Robert Downey Jr. in there or even Pepper Potts. But no, none of that. So I would have liked to have seen maybe at least one Avenger in there somewhere. I also didn't like how there was couple of, at least one predictable moment in here, with Nick Fury when he gets attacked and then he eventually dies, so you think. And then it's revealed later he's still alive and he's been alive. This has been a trend going in these movies lately, with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes this year did that. Infamously in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, remember they killed Optimus for like the whole movie. And then How to Train Your Dragon 2. Oh wait, that didn't happen there. If you know what I'm talking about. This isn't really a nitpick or anything really negative, I guess, but I guess that I found it odd that Stan Lee has a cameo in this movie as well as the original Captain America film when he really didn't have anything to do with him. I mean, the first movie he was like a general sitting there saying, I thought he'd be taller. And then this one, he's the security guard that says, I'm so fired. So I guess, well, Stan Lee cameo is a Stan Lee cameo. I don't really care. I mean, I like seeing him on film. I actually saw him the other day at Comic-Con here in Salt Lake. It was really interesting to listen to. And just funny and everything. But, I mean, Stan Lee is Stan Lee. I don't really care. He can be in anything except Princess Diaries 2, which was really weird that he made a cameo in that movie. I'm not kidding. Go watch Princess Diaries 2. Stan Lee makes a cameo in there that has nothing to do with Marvel. So those are my thoughts on The Winter Soldier. I thought it was a fantastic film. And then they have Captain America 3 set for 2016 with the Russo brothers returning to direct. Let's see if lightning can strike twice again and see if they can pull off another nail-biting thriller. And I'll see you next time with my next video, whatever that may be. Thank you for watching.